So you know how you hear those stories about like a couple that went camping and the wife was like 9 months pregnant and she had to have a baby in a tent? Well, the same thing just happened to Tesla with the very first all-wheel drive Model 3. We're going to talk about that, and also actress Mary McCormack's husband Model S came with a free flamethrower that apparently they were hiding under the car. We're going to talk about that, and the comment of the day today comes from Elon Musk. Let's get going with all of the stories and more coming up next.
Taking over the world, electrifying the world, electric.
Thank you to those of you watching me on Patreon. The live chat is going right here. If you want to join the movement of helping me and the show, really, of staying independent, please join us on Patreon. You can watch me live and comment. And of course, if you're watching me on YouTube, please consider subscribing so you don't miss anything moving forward. All right, let's talk about the very first Tesla Model 3 all-wheel drive that is coming out this week out of the tent. Now, the good news is that the finally all-wheel drive car is here. The weird news is that it was born in a tent, like in that story I was telling you earlier. But so yeah, and it's pretty impressive that Tesla was able to manage this, because there's like, I thought they were all out of tents with all like wine and art and wine festivals going on in their area, but and nevertheless they built one on the side of their factory, and they put the third assembly line in there. I don't know if it couldn't fit through the doors. I don't know if their movers were going to charge them extra, but nevertheless, they built the whole damn thing outside, and the Model 3 is coming out of that assembly line now, which is kind of pretty impressive. Now, Elon Musk said that he's actually going to be once again living 24/7 at the factory to supervise and to bring the 500 cars per day to over 700 cars per day in the next few months. Now, he's not just there to help the production, he's also there to tweet a lot and talk smack about the short sellers. There's another tweet that he sent out saying that they are going to feel some pain in just a few weeks. Now, by the way, this just, I mean, it's funny, yeah, but, and by the way, is there anybody else except for Elon Musk who knows how to make cars there? Like, does he always have to live there to make sure everything is taken care of? But no, it does look like he's pretty confident about that he's going to be able to meet the deadline and the rate of 5,000 Model 3s produced per week. Listen, we've been lied to before, but this does look good as far as all of his tweets and all of his confidence about it, and the fact that the third line was just installed, and obviously they only need about, what, 200 extra cars to be made there, and it does look like, if it's 250 cars per line, they should be well over 700 cars per yeah, M3 looks like here like a car that needs an oil change, as Lucas in the chat room. That's very true. All right, so there's another story that's kind of opposite of this one. Before that, let me just remind you guys that this show and this channel is sponsored by Evernex, the aftermarket accessories for Tesla, including Tesla Model 3. So grab the discount code in the description of this video if you want to save a few bucks when you shop there. All right, so Mary McCormack, the actress, tweeted out that her husband's Model S caught on fire like this, absolutely for no reason. By the way, if you don't get that reference of that song, you're too young to watch the show. But nevertheless, so she tweeted it out and saying that nothing happened, it was out of the blue. Now, of course, we should wait for investigation because we don't know what's gonna happen. What happened? Maybe it hit something and he did notice, which does cause fires. Remember the earlier Model S's when they caught on fire, Tesla ended up putting the shields underneath the car, and that kind of stopped. So that could have happened. There's really only one case when a Tesla ever caught on fire for no reason, and it was, I think, in France. So that's not very. Hey, maybe I'm right. Maybe it just came with a free flamethrower. Didn't know about it. And hey, listen, that's just a free option. So let's wait for the investigation and see what happens with that, because it's, as always, it's very important, but a little bit concerning. By the way, I think this is the most media coverage Mary McCormack's got in a while, right? Because Howard Stern is not making any more movies, so what are you gonna do? Another really cool story. This guy, Rupert Stedler, the CEO of Audi, was arrested today, taken to jail. Yeah, absolutely. This is still a part of the Dieselgate problem that they're having. Apparently, the German authorities believe that he could be tampering with evidence and witnesses and stuff like that. So they actually arrested him. They might let him go out if they're convinced that he's not going to do any more of that stuff. But yeah, I mean, this is big news, and I think this is the highest highest executive that was ever arrested for that Dieselgate stuff. So this is great. I love this story. It's really warming my heart, mainly because there's still diesel fumes in my lungs, but heartwarming story in more ways than one, and I'll definitely follow it for you guys. Funny enough, none of the electric car news websites have covered this, but I thought it was kind of big. I actually thought about making this a main story, though, you know, when the flames are coming out of Tesla, obviously, this goes down on the priority list. So another cool story that Renault decided to open a second electric car only showroom, and this time in Germany. Now, apparently their pilot showroom attracted enough attention for them to move forward and maybe start, you know, planting this all over the place, which is really good because, you know, this reminds me of like Whole Foods, right? Because like when it was just like Safeway or Albertsons and stuff like that, people would walk in and they were trying to look for like healthy living food and stuff like that, and by the time they got to, you know, kale juice or whatever, they already saw so many, you know, Coca-Colas and Pepsis and Liptons trying to be sold to them that they basically kind of like give up and said, okay, well, I'm just gonna get that delicious poison. But the Whole Foods opened up where you kind of have no choice but to be surrounded by all healthy stuff without other bigger, cheaper brands really trying to sell you stuff for half the price. So I like the concept. By the way, this is what it looks like inside. I'm not really sure about those crime outlines, the body outlines around these cars. Like, you know, we might want to make it look less stabby there, you know. It's like a body outlines, you know, with around these cars. Maybe saving an environment is a crime in Germany, so who knows? But I'm really excited about this. Could just be a good way of dealerships not trying to screw everybody out of electric cars, trying to sell them gas cars. So I really like that. Okay, all right. So let's get to the comment of the day, and just like I said, this one actually comes from Elon Musk himself. No, he didn't comment on my video. This is one of his Twitter posts, which I actually like. This is his finally having fun that I've been having with him all this time. He says basically, the enemy of my enemy is myself, and he says it is kind of amazing. So this is a comment on this guy Robert. I don't know this guy, but he posted, it is kind of amazing that Elon Musk wakes up with billions of dollars, a space colonization company and creative genius girlfriend, and still decides to ruin his mornings exactly the same way I do by arguing with idiots on social media. How true is this, right? I mean, I just was making a comment how, you know, he has to spend 24/7 in the factory, sleeping on the floor. Sorry, Ben Solens. But at the same time, he has all this time to tweet about all this kind of stuff and talk smack to all kinds of people. So I thought it was at least cool that Elon Musk acknowledged that. So yeah, that's news for the day. By the way, I will be live on Tuesday and Wednesday doing news. But once again, I'm going to be leaving you guys for a couple of days. I'm going to VidCon in Anaheim, because that's where YouTubers are going to be. But I will produce some of the videos that I did in Shanghai, so you will be entertained. All right, well, so that's it for me. All of this exciting news. Hopefully, we'll have more tomorrow. Other than that, I'll see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.